Hello, my name is Alan Burns. This is Kanisha Cobley. We're working together to do a presentation on the Thomas Edison Historic National Park. Um, we're going to talk about the then and now, the historic importance, the economic importance, and why we should care about it in general.
For the then and now, there was 10 to 20 markers that designed and manufactured at the same site. They use the same machinery, and tour guides have preserved that machinery that were in place. There's chemical labs, machinery labs, and libraries all available to engineers now.
So the historic context is when this site was operational, a lot of different inventions came out of there. Some of those were the phone, the motion camera, and the battery, which changed the world that we live in. Can't go anywhere without seeing a phone or seeing some kind of video on that phone, and they all have batteries. So it's really changed the way that people interact um, and the way that we communicate throughout the world.
The importance of this was that it was the home of many inventions that we now use today. As mentioned before, the phone was created, and that started as recording sound like from one place to another. Nowadays, we talk on our phones, we communicate by phones. Another big one was the motion pictures. In the 20s, that was a big hit. They watched a lot of movies. And nowadays, there's theaters everywhere. I mean, our TVs that we use, even what we're doing right now is kind of like a motion picture. And then last but not least was the battery. And then that one, it just controls really everything we use to our computers, phones, lights, remotes, and other electrical devices.
So the economic importance, Henry Ford actually started working at one of Thomas Edison's factories, and it really says a lot about the level of leadership and guidance that he was able to provide that somebody like Henry Ford came out of there. Um, Thomas Edison also had his own way of doing things that's come into how manufacturing is designed or is performed today. Um, Thomas Edison had his own lab where the more intellectual pursuits, the inventions, the designs, the experimentation was all performed, and then those inventions were manufactured next door at that same West Orange site. So he was really unique in the way that he operated, and it's changed the way that we operate today. So it's had a massive impact on the level of innovation that's available to people. It's had a massive impact on the way that businesses perceive engineering and design as part of their business practices. And he created a whole sector of the economy with electrical devices. We don't really use, or electrical devices are massive. It's all over the news even now with semiconductors. But none of that would be possible without Thomas Edison and his inventions and this site.
So going into why we should care about this place, it has shaped how research has turned into a business process. And it's just not an intellectual pursuit anymore, and technological companies have come out of this and come into play in the future. Here you can see the basis of where this engineering and mechanical process started. And lots of days today, you don't get that in many places. And it's just an important and historical monument.
So in closing, we have our resources here, but this national park was really interesting to learn about. The amount of innovation that occurred at this facility and the impact that he had on the world, especially the fact that Henry Ford came out of that site. It really just shows a lot about how unique this place was, which is why it's a National Historic Monument or park, because it changed the entire world. So it's really cool getting to talk about it, and I hope you appreciate this presentation.